It's dark. You can't see past the fire. Somewhere out there in the black, something is breathing and it can see you perfectly. You've been awake for 19 hours and your body is begging you to stop. But the moment you close your eyes, you become meat. That was the problem every human faced every night for hundreds of thousands of years. And how they solved it is the reason you'll fall asleep tonight without even thinking about it. Because tonight, you're going to do something insane. You'll walk into a room, lie down, and shut off your own brain for 8 hours. You'll go deaf and blind, your muscles go limp, your heart rate drops, and your conscious mind simply leaves. For a third of your life, you're as defenseless as a living thing gets. And you do it on purpose, every night without a flicker of fear. Now picture doing that with no walls, no door, no lock, just your body on open ground, a fire that might go out, and a world full of things that hunt in the dark and see far better than you will. Sleep, for your ancestors, wasn't rest. It was the most dangerous 8 hours of the day. And it was dangerous in 3 specific ways. The first one is obvious: predators. Most big cats, hyenas, and wolves are built for the night with better eyes, ears, and noses, so the moment a human was least able to defend itself was the moment its predators woke up. A predator only has to catch you once. The second problem is your own body. When you drop into your deepest, dreaming sleep, your brain does something bizarre. It paralyzes you. Your muscles switch off so you don't act out your dreams. It's called REM atonia, which means for part of every night, you aren't just asleep. You are chemically unable to move, even if something is standing right over you. And the third problem is time. You can hold your breath for a minute. You can go without water for days, but you cannot go without sleep. Push past a day or two and your body makes the decision for you, dragging you under whether it's safe or not. Sleep is the one need you can't outrun, out-tough, or postpone. Your ancestors couldn't skip it, they had to solve it. So the real question isn't how did ancient humans sleep? It's how a soft, slow, defenseless animal survived the one stretch of the day it couldn't protect itself for hundreds of thousands of years without being wiped off the planet. And the answer is one of the most brilliant things our species ever pulled off. And what they built to survive the night left a mark that had nothing to do with survival. It starts with fire. For most of our history, sleeping on the ground was a death sentence, so our ancestors slept up in the trees off the forest floor where predators walk. But at some point, humans came down, and what let them was fire. A fire does 3 jobs at once. It throws light so you can see what's coming, warms cold bodies, and holds animals back. Almost no predator will walk into firelight. On the bank of an ancient lake in Palestine, at a site called Gesher Benot Ya'aqov, archaeologists found burned seeds, wood, and scorched flint clustered in the same spots, generation after generation. Hearths, nearly 790,000 years old. And a recent look at the charcoal found something stranger. They weren't burning whatever wood was nearby. They were gathering driftwood off the lakeshore on purpose because it meant a steady supply. They were choosing where to live based on where the firewood washed up. A ring of people around a flame wasn't just cozy, it was a wall built out of light. Then they got up off the dirt. At Border Cave in South Africa, archaeologists found grass bedding laid down on purpose 200,000 years ago, the oldest known bedding on Earth. And a study published just this year looked closer, layer by layer, and found 6 distinct ways these beds were built. Some match other sites nearby. 3 have never been seen anywhere else. The beds sat on layers of ash again and again, which kept the ground dry, held in warmth, and drove the insects out. This wasn't one trick repeated for 1,000 generations. It was people experimenting with how to make the most dangerous hours a little safer, but the real breakthrough wasn't a tool at all. It was other people. Back in 1966, a sleep researcher named Frederick Snyder proposed something he called the sentinel hypothesis. The idea was simple. Animals that sleep in groups survive the night by never being fully asleep at once. There's always someone up, at least one eye open. For decades, it was just a theory. Then, in 2017, a team led by anthropologist David Sampson tested it on the Hadza, hunter-gatherers in Tanzania who still sleep much the way humans always have. They wired up a camp and tracked everyone's sleep for 20 days, and what they found is astonishing. Across more than 200 hours of monitoring, the whole group was asleep at once for a grand total of 18 minutes. 18. The rest of the time, all of it, at least one person was awake. Nobody set a schedule, it just happened, and it solved the scariest problem of all. Remember, in your deepest sleep, your body goes paralyzed, unable to move even if something is right over you. Alone, there's no answer to that. In a group, there doesn't have to be. If you can't move, someone else can. That was the only defense a paralyzed sleeper had. And here's the part that reaches into your own life. There was always someone awake because humans don't all get tired at the same time. Some are wired to fall asleep early and wake before dawn. Others don't feel sleepy until late and can't get up in the morning. We call them early birds and night owls, and we usually treat the night owl like something's wrong with them. There isn't. That friend who's texting at 2 a.m. and physically cannot make a 9 a.m. meeting isn't broken. 100,000 years ago, they were the night shift. In a group sleeping in the open, that spread was the point. The early risers covered the hours before sunrise. The night owls covered the first watch. And the older members of the group, the ones up at 4 in the morning who can't fall back asleep, turned out to be the most reliable guards of all. In the Hadza study, it was the grandparents doing the most night waking. What we file under old people just don't sleep well may be one of the oldest survival tools we have. Your group didn't need a night watch. Your group was a night watch, built out of the simple fact that no two people run on the same clock. So they had fire, a bed, and a rotating guard nobody signed up for. But they did one more thing, and it's written into your body right now. Compared to every other primate, humans sleep strangely. We sleep less, around 7 hours, when our closest relatives sleep 10, 12, even 15. But we sleep harder. A far bigger share of our sleep is spent in REM, the deep dreaming stage where the real repair happens. Samson and his colleagues put it simply: we don't sleep long, we sleep intense. And it makes brutal sense. If the night is dangerous, you don't want to lie exposed for 15 hours. You want to get in, get the deepest sleep you can, and get out. Humans evolved the most efficient sleep of any primate because we couldn't afford anything less. And there may be one last fossil of it in your own nights, that jolt you feel as you drift off, the falling sensation that snaps you awake, a faint echo of a time when dozing off in the wrong place could get you killed. Now here's where the story takes a turn nobody expects, because you'd assume all of this was only about staying alive. Survive the night, wake up, repeat. But the deep sleep our ancestors fought so hard to protect wasn't just keeping them alive, it was building the thing that made them human. That intense, REM-heavy sleep is exactly what the brain uses to lock in memories, sort through the day, and wire itself for learning. The deeper you sleep, the more your brain rebuilds itself. So the group wasn't keeping you safe just so you could rest. They kept you safe so you could sleep hard enough to get smarter. The night watch wasn't protecting a body, it was protecting a mind getting quietly more powerful every night. Think about that for a second. The most dangerous thing our ancestors ever did, going unconscious in a world that wanted to eat them, is the exact thing that grew the brain that eventually invented walls, doors, locks, and beds, so that you would never have to feel that danger. So here's the full picture. They came down from the trees and built a wall of fire. They lifted themselves off the ground and made the first beds. They slept in groups, so there was always an eye open. They let the early risers, the night owls, and the sleepless old ones cover the hours without anyone being asked. And they traded long, shallow, exposed sleep for something short, deep, and efficient, sleep that healed the body and sharpened the mind at once. Every one of those solutions is still inside you tonight. Tonight, you'll lie down in a room with a locked door, and you won't think about any of it. You won't post a guard, you won't check the dark. You'll just close your eyes and trust that you'll open them again in the morning. That trust feels like nothing. It feels automatic, but it isn't. It was earned one dangerous night at a time over hundreds of thousands of years by people who took turns staying awake so the rest could sleep. You inherited their fire. You inherited their bed. You inherited a brain they grew in the dark. So when you fall asleep tonight without a single thought, remember what that really is. It isn't just rest. It's the safest moment in the entire human story, handed to you by everyone who ever sat up in the dark and kept watch so that one day you wouldn't have to. Sleep well. If you want to dig into any of the research behind this, it's all linked down in the description. See you soon.